Hello, I'm Maiki Oreta, and welcome to Trade Talks, where we sit down with the industry leaders, innovators, and change makers who are shaping markets, challenging norms, and making an impact. Here we explore the strategies that drive progress, the challenges that push industries and communities forward, and the ideas reshaping the way we work and live. What's new, what matters, and what's next? Let's find out. On today's episode, we dive into one of the most heated business debates, the proposed 200 peso daily wage hike. Supporters say it's a long overdue lifeline for workers struggling with skyrocketing prices, while business groups warn that it could trigger layoffs, higher prices, and even business closures, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. Is this wage hike a necessary relief or a risky move that could backfire on the economy? Today, we're hearing both sides. First from the labor sector on why workers believe this is necessary, and next from the business side on why employers think we should hold off on this. Please stay with us as this conversation will shape the future of work and business in the Philippines. First, representing the labor side, we have Julius Cainglet from the Federation of Free Workers. Hi, Julius. Thank you for being here with us.
Hi, good morning, Maiki, and welcome po sa lahat ng mga bilyonaryo.
Okay, Julius, from the labor perspective, why is this 200 peso daily wage hike necessary? Bakit natin to kailangan ngayon?
Well, first of all, it's long overdue. In fact, we've been asking for a significant wage increase for the past 36 years because that's how old the Wage Rationalization Act has been. It was in 1989 since we last had a legislative wage increase. And from that time, we've only had, in Tagalog terms, barya-barya po. We get to receive minimum and minimal amounts of wage increases over the past 36 years. And I think a significant wage increase at this point is very significant. It's very important because not only of the different crises that we have been experiencing, but if you remember, especially in early 2023, we experienced inflation at record highs, and there hasn't been an increase of workers. It's really the cost of life. 100 pesos in the game. It's difficult because it's going forward and cost value of the bigger picture. It's timeline for living wages because actually around 1,200 pesos. If that 200 pesos to the wages right now, that would really amount to 845 pesos. So that's really way below the living wages that workers and their families to meet their basic needs for everyday needs.
Mm-hmm. Julius, the audio quality is not the best, so I'm going to ask you another question. I'm not sure if you incorporated it into your early answer, but because of the audio quality, I'm going to ask it. Are you pushing for an immediate or a phased wage increase?
We're pushing for an immediate increase because, as I mentioned earlier, sorry if you didn't hear it, the increase has been long coming. So we've been asking for this for a long time now. It has been 36 years since we had that legislative increase. And the wage force has been getting minimal increases over the past 36-year period. So we think this right now will help workers recover the lost value of their wages and enable them to live a decent life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Julius, are you satisfied with the 200 peso daily wage hike? Is that amount sufficient for you? And then pagkatapos nito, will you be pushing for more wage hikes in the future?
Well, in the first place, our constitutional mandate is to have a living wage. And as we put it, should the 200 peso wage increase be granted, it's only for wage recovery at the moment, because over the past few years, the real value of wages has definitely eroded. So we want it immediately, and over a period of time, eventually, we should move closer to having living wages, which is our constitutional mandate. So we want to tell Congress the message that giving 200 pesos is not even comparable to the last legislative wage increase we had, because when we did that in 1989, the increase in wages amounted to almost 40% of the existing wage before. No? So now, should the 200 pesos be granted, it's not even 40%. So I think we will recover. Companies will be able to recover. And over the years, the government has been saying that we will experience growth. So I think while we have growth, the next question we have to answer is if there is equality. And if growth redounds to workers receiving adequate wages, then that's something that addresses the inequality.
And Julius, going back to the bare bones, how would you even describe a living wage? I mean, it's a very dynamic definition, and it changes over time depending on the situation. How would you define ano ang magandang living wage sa ngayong panahon?
Well, even the government's own studies reveal that for a family of five with someone in the na that's 1,200 or little over 1,200. And I think the same study was corroborated by the Evil Foundation. So basically, the money would be enough to get roofs over your head, get an education, of course, food, damit, at sana may konting savings. No? Sa ngayon po, the present rates we have right now would not allow for wages, for workers to have enough from their wages to get savings. No? So 1,000, we're looking at 1,200 to cover all of these basic needs.
Julius, yeah, critics argue that this could lead to job losses and business closures. Hindi kaya ito mag-backfire sa mga workers?
Well, if we go back to what happened in 1989, the last time we had wage increase, hindi naman po siya nag-lead to job losses. So in fact, what we're saying is, if we give enough wages to workers, the money, iikot po yun sa ating ekonomiya. It's not like if workers get an additional, it's not like if workers get increasing wages, they'll use it to go abroad, to go shopping abroad, to buy imports and all. Babalik po yan sa ekonomiya. At unang-una po makikinabang talaga yung pong ating mga small and micro businesses kasi workers will be spending for their basic needs. Workers will be spending for what our informal sector provides. So malaki po may tutulong sa ekonomiya pag nagbigay po tayo ng dagdag sahod sa mga magagawa, iikot po sa ekonomiya, iikot po sa ibang pangangailangan ng mga kasama natin, at it would eventually lead to better life for everyone.
And Julius, how much of an impact will a 200 peso wage hike have on workers? Gaano kalaking halaga ito para sa kanila?
Malaki po, kasi po kahit po yung mga karinderya ngayon, ang isang meal po ay kung hindi man 90 pesos o 100 piso na. And we're just talking of one meal, no? If you're working, if you're reporting for work at bibili ka po ng pagkain sa malapit-lapit na karinderya, na medyo masustansya at may sabaw, 100 pesos na po agad yun. So, ibig sabihin, it's enough to cover 2 meals, no? Kapag pa po magkaroon tayo ng 200 pesos na dagdag. And we're only talking of one person sa family of 5. So, malaking impact po ito. Hindi po magiging kasi laki ng ninanais natin na living wage, but 200 will go a long way in providing at least meals. Kasi like sa chain reaction, no, kung masustansya po yung ating pagkain, ang mga bata ay magiging maganda rin ang performance at sa eskwela, yung pong ating hinahanap na development ng human resources ay maaari din po niyang matugunan because children will have access to nutritious food. So malaki po itong 200 pesos kung ito po may bibigay. Although again, sabi natin, it will not reach the living wage rates that we are calling for. but definitely would be a big help to workers and their families.
Thanks for clarifying that, Julius. And Julius, in addition to that, may nagsasabing na ipapasa lang ng mga businesses ang sa consumers yung cost ng wage hike. Paano natin 'to maiiwasan?
Well, of course, kailangan po natin bigyan ng balance kasi unang-una, hindi lang naman po wages ang pinoproblema ng business. Of course, I don't want to speak for all of them. Pero alam niyo po, ang problema natin sa negosyo sa Pilipinas, mataas ang kuryente, mataas ang raw materials, mataas po yung lupa na gagamitin mo na pagtatayuan mo ng pabrika. So if you could address all of these other factors in trying to set up a business and really make it easier to do business, magkakaroon po tayo ng mas malaki at mas magandang impact. Marami na pong naging ganansya ang mga negosyo natin over the past few years. Meron po tayo mga tax incentives, nabawasan pa po yung corporate tax. So, siguro naman po, this time, mainam kung ang mga manggagawa naman po yung nakikinabang. You know, ang laki-laki po ng may popondo ng gobyerno na ibabudget niya para sa ayuda. At ito po ay tulong para sa mga hindi makaagapay. No? Baka po mas mainam na bigyan po natin ng tulong yung pong mga nagtatrabaho. Kasi there's a phenomenon here in the Philippines over the past decade which speaks of working poor. No? We are working, we have work, we're employed, but we remain poor. So that's because of our poverty wages. That's because of our poverty-related conditions. Malaki pong tulong kapag po liban po dito sa pagbibigay ng ating wage increase ay tulungan din po yung mga negosyo na mapababa yung pong ibang prosesong gamit para po sa pagpapatayo, pagpapatatag at pagpapalakas ng mga negosyo.
Okay, thank you, Julius. We're going to be taking a quick break. I'm going to ask you to hold that thought. Trade Talks will be right back.
Good morning, everyone!
It's Senator Show. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Ann Asus Carrillo. And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always mo fun with us. Now, It's a Beautiful Day is also nominated for Best Morning Show. Only here on It's a Beautiful Day.
The latest news, national issues.
For universal health care, the law is established, the implementing rules and regulations, even the budget has been defined.
The political scene.
You know, I'm glad that he made that perfectly clear, that they will always be behind us.
And conversations with prominent personalities.
There's only one reason, politics. They want them out. What is dangerous is we might have a reorganization of governments.
All these firsthand at the forefront.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musni. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The unemployment rate drops to 3.8% last year. The Department of Agriculture is considering importing additional chicken to prevent a potential egg shortage by April. The Philippine House of Representatives has impeached Vice President Sara Duterte. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.
This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas.
And I'm Erica Christensen.
Luka Doncic's shocking trade to the Lakers costs him $116 million. Trump signs executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. Buds Wenceslao talking about helping build the future of sports through Parcal. The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back to Trade Talks. We're still talking about the proposed 200 peso daily wage hike with Julius Cainglet, with the Vice President of the Federation of Free Workers. Hi, Julius.
Hi po again.
Okay, Julius, still on this topic. Paano na kaya ang mga MSME and SMEs that will, they contribute to 90% of businesses in the country. Paano na kaya sila with this 200 peso daily wage hike?
Well, ang isa pong binabanggit natin, of course, we're not against the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And we do think that if you would develop micro, small, and medium enterprises, that would go down to more jobs, for Filipino workers. So I think this is for government to step in. Wala po kaming problema if MSMEs are given subsidies, especially for those who observe labor standards, who respect workers' rights, and may commitment po sila na hindi po sila magtatanggal ng mga manggagawa. I think government can afford all of the support that they can give. Kasi going back to COVID-19, when the pandemic hit us, government was able to subsidize enterprises who were unable to take them afloat, while a lot of their workers cannot report for work because of the pandemic. So if we were able to do that before, I think we could do this now. A lot of the legislation from before, tulad po nung ayuda, if you look at the budget of the national government, we have lots of budgets for ayuda, and this is for families, who could not make ends meet, and most of them unemployed. So I think if we put a lot subsidies, for families who cannot make ends meet, we could also give support. The same subsidies we could also give to MSMEs para naman po sila ay mag-flourish, and at the same time, matugunan po yung need po ng ating workers for the additional wages.
Julius, hindi ba kayo natatakot na these wage hikes might push businesses to really invest in AI and automation? And then pag nangyari yan, paano na ang mga jobs? Paano na yung mga manggagawa?
Yung pong together is a subject for long debating. But of course, we go back to what AI is for. AI is the basic advance with the major advancements in technology, robotics. In fact, that's already happening right now. We have members whose companies they work for have already employed cobots, or collaborative robots. So if we go back to why we have AI, why we have technology, ang pangunahing dahilan naman po talaga ay to make lives easier for the ordinary people, and sa company context to make work easier. So it will make jobs easier, but it should not go down to losses in employment. So pagpasok po ng AI, you still have to maintain it anyway. There will be other jobs available. So pwede pa po natin paghandaan yan. And if companies are willing and able to invest in AI, then I think they could also equally invest in human resources para po ma-retain po yung ating workforce.
So that these wage hikes don't lead to businesses passing on the cost to consumers, Julius, do you think that wage hikes should necessarily be tied to productivity? What are your thoughts on this?
There are lots of debates around productivity kasi we've had experience na from our members when they get tied to productivity-related increases, minsan po it redounds to getting overworked with getting the same pay. Kasi po, if you perform well, that's where you get more. So, tingin po natin there should be proper balance. You get what is basic, and then if you really perform better, pwede po tayo magkaroon ng second tier na magtataas na kaunti yung sahod. What workers are very worried about is, this is based on what our experience has been, yung pong quota system. Pag nagpakita ng maganda yung manggagawa, na-meet na yung quota, instead of retaining the quota at mariretain din po na yung kanyang wages, ang nangyayari po ay, kaya mo pala, sige, dagdagan na ka natin. So, kinakailangan po may proper balance. If workers are able to meet the quota, and his wages and benefits are tied to quote-unquote productivity, yun po yung danger. Pag nagpapakita ka ng bilas, minsan po ay tumataas tulad ng bar. So, there should be proper balance of what's productive and what is decent. Meaning, dapat po decente ang trabaho ng manggagawa, decente ang kanyang working condition, hindi po labis-labis yung kanyang oras na ginagamit sa pagtatrabaho para naman may panahon pa siya para sa kanyang pamilya, enough time to own personal development, enough time for family, and even leisure because this all contributes to balancing work and family life.
Tama, balance sa trabaho, balance sa work and family life. Julius, bukod sa wage hike, ano pa ang need ng mga workers ngayon? What other reforms or what other things are you pushing for?
Thank you for asking that question. Malaki pong problema ng manggagawa ang pamasahe and transport. Napakalaki po. Well, you were talking about productivity earlier, tamang-tama. A lot of our workers get tardy reporting for work because of traffic. At hanggat hindi po nasusulusunan yung traffic, ay hindi po magkakaroon ng magandang buhay para sa mga manggagawa at negosyo. This is exactly one thing where employers and workers totally agree with each other. If we only have a mass transportation system na mura, abot kaya, at hindi po masyadong kakain ng budget ng mga manggagawa, it would be a great help for them. Second, I think sa sobrang taas po ng taxes, especially sa tax, this is one thing that oil companies really pass on to consumer. And as they do that, tataas din yung presyo ng mga bilihin, tumataas ang mga presyo. So, nagkakaproblema po uli sa budget ang mga manggagawa. So, among other things, these two things, kapag na po ma-actionan, ay malaking tulong sa manggagawa. No? Mass transportation system na affordable and accessible, at saka po pag-aalis ng mga buwis na nagbibigay para sa dagdag presyo ng mga batayang pangangailangan. At kung makapagdadagdag po ako ng pangatlo, which is also a topic today, no? We'll be talking to employers today. We need to also discuss just transition. We need to shift to a low carbon economy so that while the environment gets sustainable, dahil mas malinis na po yung hangin, mas malinis yung ating operasyon, hindi natin sinisira ang kalikasan, mababawasan po yung malalaking bagyo at epekto ito, impact sa mga manggagawa, ay masusustain din po natin yung magandang employment with decent wages and decent lives for our workers.
Okay, thank you, Julia. So we're a little tight on time, but we have one last question. If you could answer shortly, that would be awesome. Just wanted to get your thoughts. Ano ang mensahe mo para sa mga employers na nagwo-worry tungkol sa 200 peso daily wage hike? Natatakot na sila, lalo na yung mga MSMEs. Ano ang mensahe mo para sa kanila, Julius?
Usap po tayo. Yan po yung magandang message ko na papanggap sa ating mga employers. At para po tayo makapag-usap ng maayos, isa po sa mga constitutional mandate po kasi natin ay yung full recognition of the right to freedom of association. Kung ang mga manggagawa po ay kaya nakapagtatayo ng union and if these unions get recognized, even voluntarily, can by management, then we wouldn't even have to talk about legislated wage increases because we could talk about wages, benefits, retirement pay, and everything related to labor and employment at the workplace level because we are unionized. Ang problema po kasi if we don't have a union, hindi po nakakausap ang workers' representatives. Wala pong voice. There's no need for employers to know what workers are really thinking about, what they feel for, no? What are the things that they hold dear and important to them. So if there's full recognition of the right to unionize and employers recognize these unions, talk to them in social dialogue, in meaningful dialogue, then it will solve many, if not all of our country's problems related to the
Thank you so much, Julius Cainglet from the Federation of Free Workers for sharing your thoughts, for being the voice of the workers on this very, very important topic for the country.
Maraming salamat din.
All right, we tried to get the business side as well, but due to some scheduling and technical difficulties, we weren't able to get them on the program today, but we will shoot for that side on another episode. And that's it for today's show. I'm Maiki Oreta. Stay up to date on the latest in business and the economy here on Trade Talks. Catch us again tomorrow only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.